Hello everyone, welcome back to Time Out. I am Dee. It's really good to be back, and happy Independence Day to all Nigerians all over the world. I mean, Independence Day is the greatest, most significant day of history for any nation all over the world. So I do wish this Independence Day brings success and great fortune to every single one of us, everywhere. Anyway, so today we're talking about a topic that I think is really important. For instance, I wasn't able to shoot a video last week and I met up with my friends. I did like a girls' night out thing. But if anyone has noticed, it's almost like everywhere you turn, everybody's having some sort of relationship issue. Now, what I was able to do was actually interview a few men. So I spoke to a few men, did a bit of research with some women. So I came up with this really interesting topic: how to know if he's really not that into you. I mean, this is great, right? So we can go through the science together and it will save everybody a lot of headache. Now, women know what to really look out for when you do meet that great guy, and rather than waste your time over the years, you know the things to look out for as soon as possible, right? Great, let's get to it. Point 1. He doesn't introduce you to his social circle. Everyone knows that when you meet someone significant, the first thing you want to do is shout out to all your friends and family sometimes about it. Well, shout out to your social circle about it, right? So what happens when you meet this person and he's not introducing you to any of his friends? That's a major red flag, right? Don't get me wrong, a lot of men these days would actually introduce you to friends, and then the friends will come around, make you cook them lunch or dinner whilst they call you wifey, knowing fully well you're just there for the time being. Really, let's face it, a lot of people do that these days. But what I'm trying to say is, if he's not introducing you to anybody in his social circle, that's a major red flag, and that's something to look out for. Point 2. Every date is scheduled for his convenience. And what does this mean, really? Okay, so think about it. So you live on one end of the town and he lives on the other end of the town. I mean, half the time, even if either of you can go to the other person's end, you can agree to meet up halfway, right? But this man does not go out of his way to accommodate you, to pick you up for dates, to do anything. You always have to do the drive to go to see him. Does that ring a bell? Anyway, so for instance, he's home or he's been out with his friends all day. Then he hits you up at 11 p.m. at night and it's like, oh, baby, what are you doing? Oh, do you want to come over? At 11 p.m. at night. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not really about the time. First of all, it's safety. It's your safety as a woman. Secondly, he's not making any effort. So it'll be different if you guys have been talking all day and you really miss each other. You want to see each other at 11 p.m. at night. That's totally different. But when he just sits in his own comfort and is like, oh, baby, do you want to come over? And then you actually get up to go. You know what you are, right? It's a classic booty call. Point 3. Every interaction leads to sexual intimacy. Sorry. Let me tell you how this works. So, you plan a date, or you want to meet up for coffee or for breakfast before work, or you want to meet up for lunch, and he declines those dates because that would make you to be out in public. He doesn't want that. The only dates he wants are those ones where he invites you over to his house for dinner, so it's just the two of you alone, or anything that has to end up with the two of you alone all the time. Those are the only kind of dates he wants to have. Or you're trying to talk to him about something very important to you and he turns every conversation into a sexual one. Then you know that's what it's really about. There's nothing more to it. He's not really interested in what's going on with your life. Everything is just, what you're wearing. Oh, something. Let's text. What's that thing called again? Is it sexting? Yes. So everything leads to that. So that's what it's all about, really. Then it's not really about you. He's just keeping you around for the sex. Point 4. His words never match his actions. Okay, so let me give you a good example of this. So I want to piggyback on point 3, which is, every interaction leads to sexual intimacy. So what happens is then you start to notice and start to complain to him about it. And he tells you, oh, baby, it's not really about sex. I'm willing to take things slow. But like I said before, he doesn't want to meet you in public. he doesn't want to meet you where other people are. He's not introducing you to his friends. Do you understand? The only dates he wants to have are the ones where it's just the two of you alone all the time. And this person is telling you it's not really about sex, but everything he does is actually sexual. So there's really nothing substantial to the relationship. It's all about sex. Do you understand? Point 5. I don't believe in labels. This is a classic one. So what happens with this is you've been dating this guy for like what, a year? Let's even say 6 months, and he still won't introduce you to anyone as his girlfriend. If that makes any sense. A lot of guys do this. Like, you know, he would shy away from actually saying meet my girlfriend. So most of the time what he would do is he would say, oh, meet Susan. Do you understand? Oh yeah, meet Susan. Oh, meet. He would not. And the only reason why he would do this is because he's still not sure about the relationship. He's still leaving room open for somebody else. So he's still hiding the fact that he actually has a woman in his life, you know. And when you discuss this with him, you say, I don't believe in labels. Oh, don't put a label to it. Must you always label everything? Must you always make a big deal out of everything? It's not a big deal. Oh, you know, I'm just trying to keep this to ourselves so that it lasts longer. But I mean, if a man is not telling other people he's in a relationship, that means he's still a free agent, right? He's just not that into you. Point 6. I'm going to leave her for you. Need I say more? Nobody ever leaves somebody they've been in a long-term relationship or marriage for someone new. I mean, sometimes it's really complicated. Like, probably they have a family with this person, or they've built a life together, or for some financial reasons. A man will never do that. And now, this is actually directed towards women. So I'm talking to women here. I think the best thing to do is when you do find someone like that and he's saying to you, oh, I'm going to leave her for you, I think you should remove yourself from that situation. Remove yourself, let him go and sort himself out, break up his own relationship. When he's a free agent, then he can come back. Because we should all love ourselves. Like, as a woman, you should love yourself enough not to be on a string and be waiting for anybody to break up with another person for you. Yes, I mean, to an extent, it sounds really romantic and stuff. Oh, he's going to leave that person for me. But think about it, right? If he's so willing to leave another person for you, he'll be so willing to leave you for the next person. I mean, that's how it works. Point 7. I love you. Okay, let me rephrase that, because it's not every time a guy says that he's actually lying. What we're trying to figure out here is how to know if he's lying when he does say that. So when does he actually say that to you? Is it when he wants something from you, or when he's done something wrong? Because what happens is that for a guy that doesn't mean what he's saying, he would usually ask you, or he would usually say that to you, tell you, I love you, when he's done something wrong. You probably caught him cheating with another person, or he wants to have sex. Those are the only time he really says I love you to you. Or, well, pretty much it's usually when it's a bit suspect. That's when he says I love you, if that makes any sense. And then again, another thing to look out for is that his words will never match his actions. A man that tells you he loves you but will never go out of his way to do anything for you. Point 8. It takes him hours to respond. Now, don't get me wrong, this can happen to anyone ever so once in a while. Like, if he's really, really busy, it can take him some time to respond. But the psychology of actually loving someone means that person is constantly on your mind. Like, most of the time you're thinking about the person. So getting a message or something from the person means you want to respond as soon as possible, because you were thinking about them anyway, if that makes any sense. So when you have somebody that you're constantly texting or calling, and deliberately they do not pick up your call, or it takes them hours or days to respond to you, that already tells you the proof is in the pudding. You know already this person doesn't really care about you. Point 9 on my final point is I've been busy. This has happened to most women, at least at some point in their life, right? You've met that guy where he will call. I mean, at the beginning of the relationship, he's all about you. He's into you. He's calling you all the time, responding to your messages. And you think you're the best woman in the world. And you give up that jujube. You sleep with him. And all of a sudden, he gets really busy. Then he realizes he has a job that he has to do and is always busy. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I personally feel like after the first time you take that from a man, like you accept that excuse from a man, like, oh, I was busy, that's why I could not call you back, or I'd not seen your message in days, or whatever it is, I believe it should only be acceptable once. Anything after that is just somebody taking a piece, basically, because they had that job before they met you, and obviously you're equally just as busy. But if you can make time for that other person and reach out to them and check on them, and this person never does that and claims they're busy right after they've gotten what they wanted, then you know that he's really not just that into you. Anyway, there are other signs, but these are some signs you can actually look out for if you have met that significant other and you're really not sure what to look out for. So do have fun. Have a blessed week. Namaste.